All right, now for this week's Star Wars Weekly Roundup, we do not have a new reference book for you just yet. Hopefully you're backlogging some of those we've talked about the last few weeks, but I did want to take just a second to highlight A Test of Courage, because this High Republic novel, middle grade reading novel, is not one that we'll do a full roundtable on. There is a full review up both on the YouTube channel and on the website, so definitely check those out. But I just wanted to accentuate this on the video show, because I know some people still find that middle grade novels aren't necessarily something you want to try, may not be something you ever wanted to pick up. And I just want to say, this is definitely a key part of the High Republic story. Now, as we've said in previous shows, you're not going to miss out on like plot points and not understand future books if you don't read this. That's not how they work. They want to just accentuate the story. But if you want a story that involves some really cool, fun, young characters, a bunch of like young Jedi that when the adults aren't around, how do you survive? How do you learn to deal with grief as a young person? I think are all very realistic lessons. And also they recanonized the light whip. So, I mean,
yeah.
Come on.
Sick.
It's pretty quick. It's a pretty quick read. And one thing I wanted to show here, speaking of light whip, is that there are some amazing illustrations in this book. Look at that.
Sick.
Look at that artwork. Like it's not a picture book by any means, but there are just a couple really nice illustrations that can show you more characters, kind of guide you along the journey. So if you can find it, which again is so awesome that that's a problem. Justina Ireland's A Test of Courage is out now from all booksellers, and some of the characters will be featured in Justina Ireland's, I believe, oh gosh, Out of the Light? Her next YA novel, I've forgotten now. That is the next YA novel in the High Republic. You're going to get their backstories right in this book. So definitely check that out. And another thing I wanted to talk about, we had some news. I want to bring the boys back here with me if I could. We talked about Lucasfilm Games recently, guys. And we're like, oh, that's probably like mobile games and more Star Wars things. And then they're like, hey, guess what? Two big announcements happened this week. Number one, Bethesda, who did Skyrim, Wolfenstein, etc., are going to be making a new Indiana Jones game. And Lucasfilm Games is going to be making, also with Ubisoft of Assassin's Creed fame, an open world Star Wars game. Which I think we've been asking for forever.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
These are huge announcements. What did you guys think when you heard about these?
I still don't believe it. I still don't believe there's going to be an open world Star Wars game.
It's going to get scrapped.
Yeah. There's a
1313 hit us too hard.
There's a video on YouTube that shows the map size of certain open world games, and I forgot which. I mean, it's like a 3-minute long video, and it gives like 2 or 3 seconds on a map size of how big certain games are. And it goes like the biggest is one of them is World of Warcraft, but I don't know how they are going to satisfy every Star Wars fan with. You can't satisfy every Star Wars fan.
Wes, you silly summer child. You can't satisfy Star Wars fans.
An open world Star Wars game where you can go anywhere at any time. I don't believe. I have to see it to believe it.
Yeah,
I have to see it to believe it.
That's open galaxy, right? That's not open world.
Exactly.
That's right.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Because are we talking like a Cyberpunk 27, Witcher 3 type open world RPGs, which are all one continent, one city, which are huge, and even can you imagine Coruscant, Cyberpunk 2077 sized, where you can just go all over the place? That's amazing. Yeah. Or are we talking like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, where it's like multiple realms, multiple planets?
It's just
I don't know. Just Tatooine. I mean, it's like the KOTOR games. Like those were relatively open world. I mean, you can kind of go wherever you want, but it is still sort of steamrolled. So I don't really know what that looks like. What does truly open world look like? I don't really know in Star Wars.
Right.
Jedi Fallen Order, that was kind of open world. I'm not really sure. So hard to say. I'm kind of with you, Wes. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. Also, it's not being produced by EA, which still feels strange.
Yeah.
Like, we thought we were trapped in that that contract for a while, and it seems that they're not somehow. So how the hell did that happen? Is there some controversy associated with that? I mean, they pay a bunch of money.
I did read an article, and they said money I think cures everything. So I think I think that there's the very big possibility that we could get a product that is going to be more expansive than we thought, and I'm glad they're using top tier studios.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you think the odds of it being a game that's outside of mainstream canon is? Like High
Like outside
Republic,
of
for example.
Skywalkers?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
okay.
you know, like High Republic, like something completely new. Like, you know, the old Republic MMO, right? Like all of that is new. All the temples are new. The way people act is new. Like I don't know how is this, or is it gonna be Fallen Order? Are we gonna be killing Empire? Like, what's it gonna be like?
30%.
Yeah, it's gonna be most likely stuff that is as appealing to the most people possible.
Yeah, you got to have some familiarity to it.
Yeah, and we don't want it to be like too much, like too specific, right? Because if it falls flat on its face, they're not going to make another one.
That's
So,
right.
And I think the thing with open world games too, you know, is that because Jedi Fallen Order, it's canon, right? Obviously, we got that new logo is so good. Fallen Order is canon because you're still only playing as Cal. You can customize to an extent, but like his canon lightsaber is still blue. His canon costume is this. But with open world games, I mean, your character, you're changing outfits, you're upgrading gear. Like, I think they're gonna really play with canon here. And John Dutch Vander in the chat does ask, you know, are we still getting Fallen Order 2? Yes, we are. That is confirmed, and that's really why I think this was such a big deal. That they announced we are getting Fallen Order 2, but we're also bringing in Bethesda. We're bringing in Ubisoft. It's starting to feel more like LucasArts vibe of like
the
we
old
have
days,
multiple
man.
branches. Yeah, and the Skywalker Saga Lego game is still coming out. Like, I think they're bringing in multiple studios to work on multiple games simultaneously to get a more constant flow of Star Wars projects. And I'm frankly just so stoked to finally have paid time off at my job so I can play all these things.
So you have an open world concept like Cyberpunk 2077, but with cantinas and like various shops. Basically, you could have a Galaxy's Edge, but you have it 5,127 times on Coruscant.
Yeah,
it just keeps going down. All those different levels.
But obviously, it's gonna be a while before we hear anything about this game. Either one of them, frankly.
It'll be 23 probably. I would be surprised if we get something that we're not expecting before like 2023, which seems like, you know, that's when our next film is gonna be. Like, you know, we got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
hey,
that.
you know what I'm gonna say? That's still it will be within the presidential term. There you go. It's not that long. We'll be fine. But now, if you want to, of course, keep up with all our news, stay tuned. Every week, we'll bring you the latest Star Wars news on the Star Wars Weekly Roundup. And if you want to buy some books, make sure to head over to youtini.com. There's affiliate links to everything you could possibly want, including every new release on our new release schedule, starting with Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, which I have over here, which is, of course, coming out February 2nd.